Welcome, welcome. So what we're going to do right now in the next few minutes is very, very simple, but don't let the simplicity of what we're going to do make you undervalue the power that's actually found within this practice. And we're going to, as I may put in the title, I don't know what I'm going to do the title, but as I may or may not have written down, we're going to be practicing the effortless Bija mantra practice of the Dandi Swamis of India. I think it's Shankara Japa mantra practice. Effortless practice. So in this mantra practice, we ain't going to be machine gunning the mantra. We ain't going to be chucking it into the mind with force or zeal. We're not even going to be enforcing concentration in a harsh manner. Concentration in this practice is going to come as a byproduct of relaxation. What we're going to be doing is actually tapping into an already existing mechanism, an innate mechanism for meditation, an innate mechanism for relaxation. Instead of, hitting the monkey mind, we're feeding it a banana. And so we're going to use one of these bananas. And, there's lots of different mantric bananas. So, what you should take away from this video is not the particular mantra that we're going to practice with necessarily. It might not be your jam. It might not be your thing. It may be, some of you. But what you should take away is the effortless nature of the practice. That is the thing that is of the highest value in this case. So, first of all, posture. The posture with this practice, anything that is comfortable. You don't have to have your spine at a 90-degree angle with the ground. You really don't need that. Prana and Kundalini are clever enough beasts that you could be hanging upside down. Okay, so we don't need to do that way. In fact, when you do this practice, you can be so relaxed that you even fall asleep. And that's actually okay in this practice. So first, I want you to get comfortable, okay? And you might want to be in a position, I'll just mention this ahead, where you can, press the pause button easily on the video, because I'm not gonna make a 20+ minute video of me just meditating and then put it up on YouTube. So get ready to press the pause button at a certain point and be in a position where you can. Okay, so first get comfortable, all right? Now breathing with this practice. Breathing is meant to be very, very natural. So it can be rhythmic, it can be arrhythmic, it can be deep, and it can be shallow, it doesn't matter. Also in this practice, the thinking of the mantra, ideally, though not necessarily, but the thinking of the mantra is desynchronized from the breath. So just let the breath be what it is. What is going to guide our thinking of the mantra, or the timing of it, is simply us noticing that we're somewhere down the road on a different thought altogether. And you don't even have to notice with a lot of, you don't have to be very vigilant. You don't have to be like, I think of like a cat waiting for an ankle, to come down to the ground, it's hiding under the couch. No, you can be more lackadaisical than that. You can be fairly relaxed. You can have 1, 2, 3, 4, who knows. Thoughts flow through the mind before you come back very gently to the mantric technique. And gentleness here is the word. This is low effort. That's the thing that people find challenging, because it's a fairly common thing in our world for people to associate good effects and accomplishments with how much effort you put in. Here we're actually swimming in the different direction, and that's what some people find a little challenging. But even if you're like the biggest type A effort, Puritan work ethic, hustle culture addict in the world, you probably need this meditation more than other people. You can do this meditation successfully. All those temperamental qualities do not get in the way of doing this practice well. Very little actually gets in the way of doing this practice successfully. It's very forgiving. So there's a number of mantras we can choose from. In another video, and it wasn't a video devoted to this, just spontaneous instruction at the end of another one, I use the mantra Shreem, which is a perfectly, I think, lovely, universally friendly and never harmful mantra. This time I want to use another one. I'm going to use one of my favorites. And one of my favorite mantras is one of the bija mantras of Shiva. I think one of the seed mantras of I think Lalita Tripura Sundari, one of them. And this mantra is the mantra Saum. No, excuse me, Sau is Lalita Tripura Sundari. But this one is like a very soft, gentle, poetic, I call like bliss-drunk aspect of Shiva. Saum. It's a very gentle mantra. Most of the S mantras are kind of gentle like that. And that's Saum. And, you know, I let the cat out of the bag right away. So I'm differing from the historical teachings of the Transcendental Meditation Organization that would say, like, these are just meaningless sounds. Well, they very well were not. So, you know, this sound has meaning, but you still can practice it. You can still enjoy it. You know, whether you know the meaning or not, you can enjoy it by thinking it as stupidly as you would think some kind of random nonsense thought like waste paper basket or garbage truck or pick up on Tuesdays. Fairly nonsense phrases. You can think Saum just as simply as any of those thoughts, okay? This may take sometimes some getting used to. You all, again, and we're not going to machine gun this technique. You don't have to chuck it down into the mind. You don't even have to put a great deal of concentration on it. The manner in which we're going to think this is akin to taking a pebble and dropping it into a pond, all right? Like that. Or if you have an extremely busy mind, which doesn't feel anything like a pond, which feels like a tornado, you can think this mantra like taking a feather or a paper airplane, just sliding it into the vortex that is a tornado. That's simple. This is a meditation practice with very low agency. Our only job will be when you notice you're somewhere else altogether. It's at that moment that you very gently come back to Saum, in this case. So get comfortable. Relax. My favorite meditation chair in this life was a red lazy boy. Magic chair. Get relaxed, let the breathing happen. Get ready to press pause after a little bit. Maybe have your finger on the button. Close your eyes. Watch the mind move. Watch those thoughts flow through the mind. And very easily, very gently introduce this new thought, Saum. You think it, and then you drop it. You don't try to hold it in the mind. Think it, and let it go. And then let whatever happens happen. Sometimes there will be many thoughts. Sometimes there will be few. Sometimes there'll be none at all. The only thing you have to do is when you notice you're off in some different zip code of thought, it's at that point that you come back to Saum. You can think it as simply as you think a nonsense thought, remember that. Sometimes it'll be quick. Sometimes it might elongate. Sometimes it might be thought very loud. Sometimes it's thought very softly. It'll change constantly, and it's quite all right. There will almost always be some kind of back and forth movement. You know, now we think the mantra. Now we find ourselves with other thoughts. Now the mantra. Now thoughts. Back and forth. Easily always, always easily. Like gentle little clouds floating by on a summer's day. Now the sun shines. Now a little cloud covers the sun. Now the sun. Now thoughts. Mantra, thoughts. No trying needed, no need to strain. Just gentle and easy. So we'll practice like this. Get ready for the pause. Practice like this for the next several minutes. Let's close the eyes and pause the video. Now that you're back, well, maybe let me know in the comments. Usually I do this live, so what am I saying next? How was it? You can't answer me right now. Feel free to write it in the comments, or I'll try. I've been very, very busy of late, so it's actually been very difficult to answer emails and comments and a bunch of things going on with everything else on top of it. So I apologize if I, don't get to everything as I would like to. I just don't quite have Bruce Almighty's, typing speed, and that screwed him up, didn't it? Actually, maybe a good thing. So yeah, let me know how it is. If you're more interested in going deeper with these sorts of meditations, feel free to join one of my classes, which are longer and a bit more involved. But right here, what we did right here, at essence, and of course you might find ways of like complicating it, which is what I did, and almost everybody does. Everybody finds myriad ways of taking something really simple and kind of adding some extras, and it does, to a certain extent, does dilute from the powers. But when if you stick to the basic spine of what we just did right here, and do it, maybe you don't have to just do it for only 20 minutes in a sitting. And that was something, I think, from the late 50s when people thought like, oh, people are going to go crazy doing more than 20 minutes. You can do this kind of practice for like an hour, 40 minutes, 30 minutes. You can do it for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or something like that. And yeah, for legal reasons, no, what we did right now was not transcendental meditation. So not at all. I would not make that claim. What we did do was an older practice. We did very similar, an older practice. That is the practice of the Dandi Swamis. So just hammering that in there. That's what we did. So enjoy this practice. Maybe do it 2-3 times a day. That seems to be a universal thing with different practices, where people enjoy doing something in the morning and then something in the evening. And I was always also an opportunistic closed-eyed meditator, like especially when I was working long hours. Like there was a time when I was working 16-hour days, running a restaurant, and I did not have time for my customary 4 hours a day of meditation at that period. So what I was doing was, when the bathroom break could happen, I would take a 5-minute bathroom break and I would spend my time meditating on the toilet. So, function stacking. And that actually worked magic. Other times when I, couldn't take a bathroom break, if I was having a lot of tension release happening, from just the intensity of the environment, I would just, stop what I was doing, put the knife and the vegetables, away, rest, while standing up, lean on my cutting board or lean on the counter, close my eyes, and I'd meditate for 30 seconds to 2 minutes. And even those little tiny standing still micro meditations had a profound impact on my day. If you do like higher volume of this sort of practice, it can have a lot of tension release associated with it. And so there are things that ease that. One of the simplest things is just being sufficiently hydrated. Another thing is to take up some kind of gentle movement practice. I tend to favor Hatha yoga. That's just been the thing in my life. Sun salutations and then rounds of asanas. And at one point I was doing it twice a day. But other people like Tai Chi, Qigong, Neigong. Others, I think there's a panoply of different options you can take up. Some people I know just do sort of Shinrin Yoku, Japanese forest bathing, and that seems to do it for them. So yeah, some kind of movement practice. It's really nice, and maybe some of you are going to say, well, that's easier said than done. It's really nice to have some people in your life who you can say anything to. Because sometimes, if you're doing volume, maybe not even, if you don't even have to be doing high volume, but it might just be your time to open up and dump all your bullshit. It's time. When it's coming out, it doesn't necessarily always come out pretty, and it's good to have people around where you can kind of say anything, even things that might in the moment be directed at them, and they have enough presence to be able to just, let it slide, let it go, not hold you to it. And both of you know that. That's sort of in the contract, as it were. That's in the understanding. And I know such friends can be rare in this world. But yeah, that would be a helpful thing. Sometimes even, and this is without having, anyone of that caliber around, sometimes just even if say like a tension is coming up in like the form of a thought or, a feeling or something, and you're just like, you're holding it in or whatever, and you're keeping it in your own little private universe, it can be extremely helpful just to externalize it in some way. Personally, for me, writing it down has never been helpful. I don't know if maybe that's helpful for some people. In my case, needs to come out of the vocal cords and you'd be put into words. And oftentimes, as soon as I would say the thing which was giving me so much trouble on the inside, as soon as I would say it, it would lose a bunch of its power without even anyone else being around to hear it. So sometimes that can be helpful. So, there are a few things along the way, that can help with this very simple mantric practice. And the practice Shankara Japa Mantra of the Dandi Swamis. And what else? I had some notes, but then I lost them. I think that's about it. That's about it for this video. So if you're still here right now, and you feel like it, leave a comment and like and subscribe, as I know everybody asks on YouTube. But yeah, it certainly does help this channel quite a bit, and help these videos get around. So I think. And I also always have the links to my various lines of work up in the description, and I'll put a pinned post in. And then like everybody else who's a writer on Substack, we love having subscribers and readers, free or paid. That's a nice thing for us. So enjoy that practice, and it was lovely to have you here with me. Have a wonderful day.